How's it going, everybody? In this video I'm going to be discussing my pure Red Eyes build. I decided to run 3 Red Eyes. This is mainly because it's the main boss monster of the deck. I want as many copies of this card as possible, especially if we want it into the graveyard. When it's in the graveyard, we're going to be able to revive it with many different cards. Red Eyes is also going to help us get into our fusion plays like Dragoon and Meteor Dragon. It'll also help us get into Flare Metal. We got the new card Red Eyes Soul, going to be testing out 3 of these. In case you don't know, this card becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. And if our opponent special summons a monster, we can send this card from our hand or field to the graveyard and special summon one Red Eyes monster from our hand or deck except Red Eyes Soul. Really cool because it says Red Eyes, not just Red Eyes Black Dragon. For a quick effect, we can also target one Red Eyes Black Dragon we control. We can inflict damage to our opponent equal to the monster's original attack. We can only use it once per duel. However, that essentially is burning our opponent for 2400 every game as long as the effect resolves. Really awesome for a burn deck. Next up, we got 3 Black Metal. Definitely need this. This is going to help us search our Red Eyes cards. When this card gets sent from the field to the grave, we can add 1 Red Eyes card from our deck and add it to our hand, and it's not once per turn. This card is going to be searching off Red Eyes Fusion. Could also search other Red Eyes monsters. Comes in handy all the time. Going to be running 1 Alternative Dragon. I have not seen a scenario where this comes up, but it has a pretty cool effect where it can double the attack of one of our Red Eyes monsters. So I kind of keep it in there as like a nice flex pick. I'm running 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Love this card. We can special summon this from our hand by banishing 1 face-up dragon type monster, and once per turn we can special summon 1 dragon type monster from our hand or graveyard, except this card. Running 1 Blackstone Legend. I don't really love this card, but I think it comes in handy, and it's a 1-star. We are running 1 1-for-1, so there is some situations where you kind of want to have some other options in how you play the game, instead of always going for black metal, so I like to have it. Prefer not to really play it though. Next up, we got a nice pick from someone who mentioned this in the comments. This is Mana Dragon something Zertrion. I'm going to read this effect. It's a little long, but for a deck like this, it's pretty important and kind of spicy. Key thing here is a 6-star Dragon, which helps us go into our Meteor Dragon where we can send it directly to the graveyard with Red Eyes Fusion. If a spell trap we control leaves the field because of an opponent's effect, and is now in the graveyard or banished, we can special summon this card from our graveyard. Then we can set 1 spell trap card that is banished or in our graveyard to your spell and trap card zone. That's kind of the gist of this card, and what this card is going to mainly be targeting is magical cylinders. Just some other ways to be kind of cheeky with the deck, but obviously you can be pretty versatile with it. Going to be testing out just 1 because the main way I'm going to be sending it is through Red Eyes Fusion to summon the Meteor Dragon. So we'll see how that goes. And it kind of is a brick otherwise, and I don't want to run too many bricks in the deck because we're already running 1 Dark Magician for the Red Eyes Dragoon. So this is pretty much the monster lineup. I am running 3 Ash because the card's super good, and 2 Veilers. This could be really any other card like a Nibiru or any other hand trap. Kind of whatever you're feeling. Some things you might want to change, or maybe taking out the Blackstone or the Alternative Dragon, or even if any of these 3 cards to add more, maybe hand traps or something to make it a little bit more, I guess, competitive. But for now, this is what I'm going to be testing and trying out. Some people might argue you don't need all 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon, but I like to have as many as possible because I want to see it, and I feel like the deck runs quite well off of it. For our spell cards, we're running 3 Red Eyes Insight. Great way to get Red Eyes cards into the graveyard and to get a Spell or Trap card, or a Red Eyes Spell or Trap card from a deck to our hand. I am running 3 Red Eyes Fusion. Some people might only want to run 1 because Red Eyes Insight can search it as well as Black Metal. However, if you do summon Black Metal, you can't actually play Red Eyes Fusion because you already summoned a monster that turn. So I want as many copies of this as possible because getting Dragoon out is, I mean, it's not like an instant win, but man, it puts your opponent in a pretty tough spot. So I want to have the highest probability of actually drawing the card. Running 2 Inferno Fire Blast. The card's pretty spicy and nostalgic. Those of you who don't know, you get to target 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon you control, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack. The Red Eyes Black Dragon cannot attack this turn. One thing that Red Eyes Fusion does is it actually turns the monster into a Red Eyes Black Dragon. So you doesn't work on Dragoon because you can't target it, but Meteor Black Comet Dragon becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon, and it's got 3500 attack, so you can target it with Inferno Fire Blast. Pretty spicy. Running 2 cards of Redstone. This is a new tech I'm trying out. This is just in case if a Red Eyes monster gets stuck in our hand, we can send it to the graveyard and draw some cards, and then we can send another Red Eyes from the deck to the graveyard. I'm running 1 Dragon Nails. I haven't had the ability to actually play this card yet, but it seems good. It's just it hasn't really come up, and you can't target it with Dragoon anyway, so we'll try it out. We're trying it out. Change Your Heart because I love it. Harpy's Feather Duster because you kind of have to have it, and I love destroying back row with it. Call by the Grave because you kind of have to have it, and 1-for-1 because it fits really well in this deck off of the black metal that we really want to see. This rounds out the spells. Move on to the traps. For the traps, running 2 Magical Cylinders. Kind of debating running 3, but you know, space purposes. And running Magical Cylinders. In case you don't know what this does, we can set 1 Magical Cylinder directly from our deck or graveyard. If set from the deck, it can be activated this turn. When we activate Magical Cylinder, we can banish this card from a graveyard and double that damage inflicted to our opponents. Man, what a cool card. Pretty annoying though, to be honest, but you know what? It's old school, it's kind of spicy. I mean, magical cylinders isn't necessarily new, but it kind of just makes these even more fun. Again, Red Eyes is in a pretty tough spot, to be honest. It's a pretty tough deck to play because the support isn't really there. I guess in my opinion, it isn't outside of Dragoon. But with the new Red Eyes Soul, I think there's some more burn potential for the deck. And this just makes it a little bit more, I guess, stally in a sense. Maybe makes our opponent not want to attack. And if they do, get the burn them even more. Red Eye Spirit's a nice way to get a Red Eyes back from the graveyard. It's kind of a special summon specifically for Red Eyes. Return of the Red Eyes is nice because if you have a Red Eyes on the field, you can continually summon each turn one Red Eyes Black Dragon from your graveyard, but it has to be the normal monster. It can't be any effect. But you can continually get more and more. Then you can go into your Xyz Blaze and stuff, but yeah, kind of fun. And Red Eyes Fang with Chain. I haven't had the privilege of actually playing with this card yet. I never really get to that stage in the game, but this is just going to kind of snowball the game where you can dish out a lot of damage. That's the main deck. It's about 41 cards. Move on to the extra deck. The extra deck is kind of incomplete. There are some cards I'm going to be adding, like Big Eye and stuff, but just don't feel like spending the money, to be honest. Dragoon, it's insane. You're gonna want to go into this every single time if you have the ability. There's really no other reason to go into any other card, but yeah, anyway, Dragoon, insane. I am playing 2 Meteor Black Comet Dragon. I just have 2, and there's really no reason to play more than 1 in this deck because I only have that 1 mana Zetron dude. You need a Red Eyes and a level 6 Dragon type, so that's the target. Maybe I can run another one of those monsters, but super cool card. When this card's summoned, you can send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the original attack of the monster. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to special summon a normal dragon monster from your graveyard. However, if you do summon this off of Red Eyes Fusion and it gets sent to the graveyard for whatever reason, you don't get that secondary effect because again, you can't summon. Running 2 Black Flare Metal. I haven't really had more reasons to run this, and there are some cards I want to discuss in a second that if you like Black Flare Metal or whatever, we can, run these other cards. I mean, again, it's a cool, awesome card. I love the artwork. I think it's got a cool effect too, but it's just, if you can go into Red Eyes Dragoon, like why would you go into something else? Next up, we're running these 3 Guardian Pisky Dragons. Really only running this to make sure that the black metal can get into the graveyard. So you just easily link it off, proc the effect, and search out your card that you need. Reason why I'm running 3 is just because I don't really know what to run in the extra deck, and I know that I need to have more copies of these because again, black metal dragon's effect is not once per turn. So I want to make sure I have as many opportunities as I can. Next up, we're running 1 Link Haribo just as another option. Next up, we got the Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Haven't really went into this too much, but it's there just in case you gotta do some extra plays and stuff. You only need 2 dragon type monsters, so yeah, you got that. Got the Dark Charmer just as another option too, and our whole deck is dark. And we got Darkness Metal. I love this card, love the art. The monster itself is kind of poop, but I really want to eventually play this card at least once, and it definitely fits in the deck. So this is only like 12 extra deck monsters. I think Big Eye is going to be one. There's going to be, I can't really think of the name, but we have other options that I will eventually be adding. But some other quick options I want to discuss. Gravedigger's Trap Hole, crazy good. I mean, it depends on the deck that you're playing against. But if your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, or when your opponent's banished monster's effect is activated, can negate it and then inflict 2,000 points of damage. Definitely helps with the burn deck. I was debating playing this, but again, it's kind of matchup specific, so I'll probably throw it in the extra deck. Could play some more magical cylinders. Thought about Raigeki. Ring of Destruction could be fun too, but they revamped this card. So now you can't actually kill someone with the burn effect because it would kill you first because your life points have to be lower. Solemn Strike is another kind of a good control option, but not that good. Dragon Nails don't really need. Light Pulsar was my other option, but now that we're adding Magical Cylinder and some other stuff, it's just better to run that other monster. Noctivision, if you like to play more the Xyz build, because this can get special summon whenever you summon a Dark Dragon monster. I played with these cards like many games. I've never wanted to play it or use it. It just feels clunky. It never felt like I wanted to use these cards, but it's an option. And now the very sad one, Gearfried Knight and the Red Eye Slash. Man, I love Red Eye Slash. It is such a cool card, but I've never had a scenario where I was like, wow, I can play that card right now. It's just like, why would I play that card when I can just go in Dragoon or something else? So very sad that I'm not going to be playing with that card, but it's such a cool card. Again, this is a pretty casual build. I'm not going to say you're going to win any YCSs or anything, but I think, the Red Eyes archetype's pretty fun. It needs some more support, but I think there's other ways of building it that could be kind of, entertaining and enjoyable to play with some friends. So that's what I've been doing with this deck. This is like the second or third iteration of this deck. So it will go through some more fine tuning depending on, the ratios and stuff. But yeah, just having a good time with this deck and playing Red Eyes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for some more. I'll see you later.